Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode brought to you by Kalshi. On Kalshi, you can trade every single game. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper. Lots to get to here on a Wednesday show. The Brewers get the win over the San Diego Padres on Tuesday night. Bark at the park night. They're ringing doorbells. Dogs are barking. Good boys and girls everywhere. Everyone having a great time. Brewers having a ton of fun. We got a lot of updates on some injured Brewers as well to talk about. A return to the roster as well. And what could the Brewers be doing in their starting rotation? We'll get into that. But we got to start with the hero of the night for the Brewers, Joey Ortiz, coming through with his first home run of the season up in the third inning. Absolute tank. You knew it off the bat. Joey Ortiz had gotten it. And he comes through. He has a really big night. 2 for 3 with a sac fly as well with the bases loaded. Thought maybe he could have gotten a grand slam. The crowd certainly did. But it ends up just being a warning track shot to dead center. Ends up being a sacrifice fly for Ortiz. But still, a productive out. For him, a very productive fourth inning for the Brewers there. But for Ortiz to finally see something like that go through, to see one go over the fence, to have a multi-hit game like that, to be productive at the plate there, it was just so great to see for him. A confidence booster for him as well. And, he may be wondering, it's like, how did he do it? Well, he just decided, I'm just going to copy what William Contreras does, which is probably a good idea. And sure enough, it worked. Let's look at what a good hitter is doing, and let's try and emulate that. Let's just see, okay, William Contreras is a good hitter. He's doing this. Why don't I try doing this? I tried doing this, and it worked. It's great. It's incredible. He was telling us after the game how, he was doing some early BP today. He's done a lot of early BP lately, but he was out there, and he kind of joked how it felt like he had never hit before. With just how bad that early BP kind of was. Whatever adjustments he was trying to make, whatever results he was getting, he's just like, it felt bad there in early BP. And then he's in the cages later on with William Contreras. And he's watching William, the way he's attacking the baseball, the way he's being aggressive at it, the way his hands are moving. And he's like, I'm going to be William today. I'm just going to try and copy what William Contreras is doing. So he said he was fiddling with his hands a little bit. And whatever it was that he was working, trying to be like William, it helped him lock in. It helped him feel a whole lot better, a whole lot smoother, and immediately sees the results with it. So he said he's going to try to be like William again tomorrow, which solid plan. I would recommend that. Maybe not just tomorrow, but maybe the day after that and the day after that, and just continually going forward. Just keep doing that. If that's working for you, trying to be like William, clearly it works well for William. Hopefully it'll work well for Joey Ortiz to be able to see a couple go through. So it is certainly great for him to be able to see that. It really helped lift the Brewers offense. The team was going nuts. They were super happy about it. Pat Murphy saying it was basically like a walk-off in that dugout with how excited the guys were for Joey Ortiz to see one get over the fence, to be productive there, because he's been going through it. He's been catching a lot of flack from Brewers fans about his performance at the plate this season. He knows it. Everybody knows it. Everyone knows it, that there's that pressure on him to perform somewhat more, offensively here. Defensively, great as always, but offensively is where there's a lot left to be desired. So to be able to have that and to have something click for him and perhaps boost that confidence, maybe we see Joey Ortiz going on a hot streak here at the plate. That would be nice. It would be really nice to see. I'm not sure how sustainable emulating William Contreras is going to be, but it worked Tuesday night. Let's see if it continues to work again for him. So that's certainly going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, he said he was fooling around with William in the batting cage, no pause, and they were able to find something that worked for him, and was able to lock in. So very, very happy for him there. Meanwhile, on the pitching staff, Chad Patrick came out of the bullpen for the 7th inning, and just through the 7th inning, 3 up, 3 down, was able to make it through it, no problem. But Pat Murphy has talked about this a little bit, and we've seen them kind of tinkering with this here with bullpen Chad Patrick. You had him out there the last time with it, as they had all these off days in a row, and they were trying to, just kind of keep him on some regular rest, line some things up, get him some work there, because they weren't going to need a fifth starter for quite some time. And then Pat Murphy talking pregame a bit about how they still have some decisions to make about Chad in the starting rotation, if they want to keep him there, if they want to move him to a bullpen role. And they're thinking about it, and they're strongly considering moving Chad Patrick to the bullpen. And, obviously we saw on Tuesday night here another bullpen performance for Chad Patrick. So it does kind of make some sense. Because I think Chad Patrick has performed really well out of the bullpen. His stuff ticks up a little bit out of the bullpen as well. The fastball velo, just kind of the move, like all that stuff ticks up for Chad Patrick in those situations. And part of it is because he doesn't know that he's going to pitch. So he doesn't have as much time to be nervous. Because on start days, he works himself into a nervous wreck, right? Like he is throwing up. He is not doing well physically almost, because he is just so nervous before each and every one of those starts, because he knows he's pitching that day and he knows he's got all that pressure on him. But when you're in the bullpen, you don't necessarily know when you're going to be pitching. You don't know until that phone rings and it says, "Hey, get Chad up," and then you get going, and then you don't really have time to be nervous. So maybe that helps him, tick up a little bit. I don't know. It certainly seems results-wise that he's been better out of the bullpen a little bit, but he's been good overall. But the Brewers are very strongly considering a bullpen move for Chad Patrick. They have not made a decision yet, despite him pitching out of the bullpen here on Tuesday night. Pat Murphy telling us post-game that we're either going to see him on the front end or out of the bullpen at some point here in the series against Minneapolis this weekend. Or series against the Minnesota Twins in Minneapolis. It's not against Minneapolis, Minnesota Twins. Anyways, you're going to see him in that series this weekend, either on the front end, either in that starting rotation, or out of the bullpen. You could see him there as well as they try and make that shift. You got Brandon Woodruff potentially on the return somewhat soon. You got Logan Henderson, who has put himself into that rotation. How they get this all configured exactly remains to be seen, but that is certainly under consideration. The Brewers moving Chad Patrick to the bullpen and having him be in a kind of a bulk long relief kind of role, but they also may keep him as a starter. Time will tell, but a lot of decisions to make, a lot of things to consider there for Pat Murphy and the Brewers. You also have a lot of things to consider on Kalshi because baseball season is here and now, and you can trade every single game on Kalshi. And hey, what did I tell you yesterday? Brewers by 1.5 runs. Brewers win by 2 over the Padres with a 6-4 victory. So, you got to be following where I'm talking about here. And you could end up winning yourself quite a bit of cash here. So you've got this game here tonight between the Brewers and the Padres, and you look at the starting pitching matchup, and you have you've got basically the best starter for both sides going in this game. So you've got Jacob Mizorowski going for the Brewers and Michael King going for the San Diego Padres. Now, you might think that means not a whole lot of runs are going to be scored, but in baseball, a lot of times that can usually, as soon as you think that you've got it beat and that's not going to be a ton of runs, that's when something different might happen. So you look at the total here of over 7.5 runs scored. That is currently trading at 46%, meaning a $100 trade would pay out $205 if you get over 7.5 total runs across both teams in this game. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10, Kalshi, Kalshi. trade on anything. All right. What you can also trade on is that Christian Yelich is back. All right. He is back in the lineup. The Brewers activated him off the IL prior to Tuesday's game. And I know we talked about it on the show yesterday. Who goes down when Yelich comes back? I was holding out hope that Tyler Black could stay over Blake Perkins, but ultimately it is Tyler Black who does get optioned. Kind of trying to doing a bit of the wish casting there because he did get a bunch of hits in his time up here with the Brewers, but he is going back down. Pat Murphy talking about how, like, look, he knows that, like, Tyler Black knows he's a big leaguer. He knows he's wanted here and welcomed here, and his time is certainly going to come again to have an opportunity at the big league level. But you get Christian Yelich back. This is the first time all season that the Brewers have had their trio of Jackson Chourio, Andrew Vaughn, and Christian Yelich all healthy at the same time. Chourio obviously going on the IL on opening day, Andrew Vaughn the next game. But you have your big boppers all back in the lineup. Christian Yelich, first night back, 0 for 4. So not great there. Pair of strikeouts for him. But still, he was out for a month, did not have a rehab assignment. So it may take him, a couple of at-bats there to certainly get back into the swing of things. Pun intended. It's so good to see Christian Yelich back. I think it definitely boosts the club a little bit as well, having him in the order. When the Brewers batted around in the fourth inning, he made 2 of the 3 outs in the inning, which, again, not ideal, not great performance-wise, but just looking at the lineup, right? It is a much deeper lineup now that you have all these guys back, where you can have a night where Andrew Vaughn isn't in the order, and you can still feel pretty good, where you have your top group of Jackson Chourio and Bryce Terang and William Contreras and Christian Yelich and Andrew Vaughn, and then you throw in Jake Bauers in there as well. And you have Garrett Mitchell, Sal Frelick more in the 6, 7, 8 spot of the order, kind of more where they should be, instead of Garrett Mitchell hitting leadoff or Frelick hitting leadoff as often as they have been. So the offense looks to be in a much better spot, and you put up 6 runs there against the Padres, 5 of them in 1 inning. I'm just very excited for what this offense is going to be looking like now that Yelich is back. Does kind of stink to see Tyler Black get optioned down. I really do want to see him get an extended look at the big league level, but given the choice between the two, I'd rather have Christian Yelich, and that's not. I know, super hot take, Dave. Yeah, we get it, but still. Great to see Yelich back and what kind of boost he can provide to this team to get this offense really clicking, because they haven't been fully clicking quite yet, because they haven't been fully healthy quite yet. So getting him back, that puts them really on that path to being able to get this offense moving forward. So Yelich is back. He's off the injured list. What about the other guys that are still on the injured list? What is their path to recovery? And we got a lot of updates on those guys as well on Tuesday here. Let's start with the most recent injury, big time injury there. Brandon Lockridge, the scare that he had. Brandon Lockridge, the MRI came back, and he does not have any sort of ligament damage there, but he does have a bone bruise in addition to that laceration. So he's still kind of limping around. It still hurts for him, but he's out of the brace. It's no longer immobilized for him. But Brandon Lockridge, bone bruise, and he's currently estimated to return in mid to late June. So that puts him on that 4 to 6 week kind of timeline for him to return back to the starting lineup. So all things considered, probably best case scenario. Given how bad that crash was into the wall, a bone bruise, yeah, that tracks. That makes sense. Having the big cut, the big gash, that'll heal up here. So, just a matter of kind of, regaining that strength, allowing the leg to heal a little bit. And he should be back on the mend and back within 4 to 6 weeks. Also, positive update here on Jared Koenig, Brewers left-handed reliever. He had his first bullpen session on Tuesday, and it went pretty well, according to Pat Murphy. So he is going to be heading out on a rehab assignment fairly soon. His estimated return is late May, early June. So, he gets his first bullpen here. He's going to get a couple more, and then probably some live BPs, and then end up getting sent out on rehab. Quinn Priester, okay, I know there's been a lot of concern on Quinn, naturally, just with the command troubles that he's had, but Priester had a 50-pitch live bullpen session that he completed over the off day on Monday, and did not have any issue there. It was without issue. Pat Murphy said he was looking really good, almost kind of surprisingly good, so they're feeling good about that, and the plan is for Priester to restart his rehab assignment this weekend. On the 16th is when he's scheduled to start. And that first start, they're planning to have in Appleton with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. So he's going to go to High A, going to go to the Timber Rattlers. If you're in that area, or you're planning to be up there this weekend, maybe you don't currently have plans this weekend and you want something to do, Quinn Priester is going to be on rehab up there in Appleton. So making his start on the 16th, coming up here on Saturday. So that is some good news there, that he's getting a chance to restart his rehab. He looked good during live BP. Brandon Woodruff has restarted his throwing program. He has his first bullpen scheduled for Thursday. So his estimated return is late May. Rob Zastryzny, who had the intercostal strain, he's on the 60-day IL. He had a live BP on Monday as well. And he is going to be starting a rehab assignment with AAA Nashville today. So Rob Z is on the mend, and he could be rejoining this Brewers bullpen fairly soon here. So that's some positive news. And then also on Monday, Angel Zerpa underwent successful Tommy John surgery to reconstruct his elbow, and he will be out until spring, summer, kind of first half-ish of the season of 2027. So, Zerpa underwent surgery, but you got Rob Z on the mend, starting a rehab assignment. Quinn Priester is going to be starting one this weekend. You got Brandon Woodruff throwing, Jared Koenig throwing. So all positive news there. And Brandon Lockridge just escaping with a bone bruise and a gash in his leg after that scary collision with the wall. So positive news there on all those injured Brewers as they hopefully try and get healthier as the season goes along and get this team back to full strength as much as it can be as you play a 162 game season. And we'll be here with you every single step of the way on Brewers Daily. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Get notified every single time a new episode drops. And, also follow us, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We are there as well. Follow me on Twitter at dgasper24. Got tons of great content from the clubhouse going up there all the time. And appreciate all of you watching and enjoying. And we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.